Tattoo artists, what is the most effed up thing you've tattooed?
Tattooist here. The list is long, but the one that made me laugh the most that I've done is Will E. Coyote's arm poking out of a dude's butt, holding a sign that said, "Help."
Excuse me, I was under the assumption that this thread was about bad tattoos. I put 667 on a dude's forehead for him. Neighbor of the beast.
A dude who was a regular customer at an old job got a scorpion on one forearm and a tarantula on the other. Only their heads were replaced by Beavis and Butthead. Edit: the lines and details for the arachnid bodies were blown out a bit and blurred. Beavis and Butthead were mostly intact.
Haha, that dude seems cool, hey.
I'm a detox nurse. A patient had a DK tattooed on the back of his shin so he could tell people he had a DK shin. Addiction. Not making that up, lol.
Had a woman come into the shop one time way back who looked like she'd been in a tanning booth 8 days a week for the last 40+ years. She wanted to get her locked-up man's name tattooed on her, but she wanted it down there. She convinced me to get WAAAY closer to her jukebox than I was comfortable with, and had me tattoo Billy Jack's P, so far up in there that I think we're common law related now. Name slightly changed for anonymity. Best part is that a couple weeks later, Billy Jack called me from prison tell me how much he loved the tattoo. It was a collect call too. God damn it. Thanks for bringing that memory back. I was almost over it, lol.
You have a collect call from P-Tat looks great, thanks. Will you accept the charges?
In prison I knew a guy with half his name scribbled backwards on his forehead. The only explanation I could come up with was he was tattooing himself in the mirror and halfway through realized it was coming out backwards to everyone, so called it quits.
Bright one, that dude.
I used to work with a guy who had a tattoo on the side of his body that was a woman squatting over a pond full fire hydrant pissing into it. Inside the pond was floating decapitated heads. When I asked him WTF was this, he told me that the woman was his ex and the heads were all his kids. I asked why is she pissing on them and he told me he has a piss fetish.
Well, that just got worse with every word.
I was a piercer for a few years at a local shop. During my first year of my apprenticeship we had a younger, 20-something male who had come in to get his forehead tattooed. I handled majority of the paperwork for the tattoo artists at the time as well, and he had requested the word FUBA to be done. He went back into the booth with the artist at the time and was told to come back the next day after he slept on it because it's permanent, and we wanted to make sure he was 100% certain. To all our dismay, he returned the next day to proceed with the tattoo. He had told us while getting tattooed that it was payback to his mother for favoring his older brother their whole life, and he wanted to return the favor of how much she effed up his life. I'll never forget the smile on his face as he walked out the door.
That's a wrong kind of revenge. Once the heat of the moment is gone, that tattoo would become useless. Guy must be regretting now. My lesson. I have tattooed fear on my ring finger less than an inch. It could have been covered mostly with a ring, but that little showing of the tattoo had a negative effect on my interviews. I have lasered it after many interviewers would notice the tattoo and kinda see their reaction change. I won't tattoo anything on my hands, face or neck in the future. Lesson learned.
Girl had a dream about marrying a dolphin. She got a tattoo of her as a mermaid, rising from the water in an embrace with the dolphin. Halfway through, after hitting on me the whole time and telling me stories about an abusive ex, she started arguing about the color scheme and left with only the outline and some shading.
What's up with the increase in people wanting to F dolphins? Edit: I regret asking.
I once tattooed nipples on a guy's butt cheeks, so his ass would look like tits.
Eric Cartman?
The mentor I apprenticed under once put the word trust on someone's DK. To pick up girls. Hey baby, can I put my trust in you?
I knew a tattoo artist that had tattooed Mr. Peanut on his penis. It looked like a blue blob. He claimed the skin was the reason and not his putty tattoo skills, but he once posted a picture of a buck with antlers that looked more like a pig with antlers. He was so proud of it, but it was so terrible. I really wish I had seen his work more before I had him try to cover up a small tattoo on my stomach. I figured where I was getting a super simple heart with a puzzle piece in it, that nobody would be able to screw that up. He had the whole professional setup and everything, so I figured he knew what he was doing. I was wrong. Now I need to get a cover-up of my cover-up.
My tattoo artist told me he made a snake out of a guy's DK, scales covering the whole thing. Different strokes for different folks. Pretty gnarly.
Okay, So I'm just gonna ask because why not at this point, I'm already here? So, how does this work? Do you have to be erect to actually get the tattoo? I'd imagine regardless that tattoo is going to look widely different while flaccid and vice versa. Edit. Thank you, everyone, for the answers and upvotes. This is sadly my most upvoted comment ever. Why's it gotta be about tattooing a DK?
My brother lost a bet in a frat house. Had to get a tattoo of a ladder on his rear end going towards his anus.
And they played snakes and ladders a little differently in that frat house.
Tattooed a Jack Skellington head the size of a dinner plate on a girl's lower back. Tried to talk her out of it cause she was young and tiny, but she insisted. I feel lachrymose.
Lachrymose, adjective. To be tearful or given to weeping. Inducing tears or sad. Had to Google it, but hey, nice word. Adding to my lexicon.
Not a tattoo artist, but my son has the entry stamp from his favorite nightclub tattooed on his forearm. It got him free entry for a full week before his friend stole the club stamp, and they bought a new, different stamp.
Your son's friend is terrible.
Bahahaha, that's the best part. My son thought it made it funnier, and he already felt guilty about not paying the cover charge. Later, he showed the manager who thought it was all hilarious and ended up giving him free entry anyway.
My uncle had tattooed on his penis, doc, after his numerous after-shore leave to get his penicillin shots.
Penicillin shots.
A zombie wearing a purple basketball jersey hacking a guy's arm off, and vomiting. The guy is also vomiting up at the zombie and the streams of the two are meeting in the middle. I've also done a cartoon fish being choked by another fish's poo. The choking fish is trying to unravel the poo. At the top of this sleeve there's a first holding an aquarium net. 2 cross joints over a Jamaican flag and the smoke forms the date of the first time he smoked WD on a cruise. With his parents.
My wife knew someone in school who was in a big hurry to get their first tattoo, and it turned out it was of a surfing pig.
There's a restaurant in Hawaii that gives you a discount if you have a tattoo of a surfing pig. So at least they have that going for them.
I know a guy with a tattoo of the Queen getting F-ed by a horse that is getting rear-ended by Prince Harry. Safe to say the dude had issues. Edit. For the curious, link.
One of my drunk friends poorly tattooed the words, your name, onto the ass cheek of another drunk friend. Also he could use the, I've got your name tattooed on my ass, line.
Steve-O blazed the trail on that one.
Matching his, hers tattoos on this couple. He was a co-workers of my wife's and I told her that he'd come in with his girlfriend. She say, you mean wife? No. Definitely a new relationship. His wife was at home with the kids. Aside from that nothing terribly wild. I did a small portrait of Donald Glover in whiteface that's pretty ridiculous.
Teddy Perkins. When I was getting one of my tattoos, the artist showed me this horrific piece he was begrudgingly working on for a client. It was a big arm tribal piece, and mixed in the tribal were little guys lifting weights. It was for a gym bro.
Kinda like the little moving guys in Maui's tattoos in Moana? Edit. Cheers for all the love, and the silver. I saw a guy who got tattooed a giant square on the forehead.
Probably a cover-up of a swastika or some other poo like that.
Not an artist. While I was getting some ink done, this group of guys come in and chat up one of the artists. They are all pretty chummy, and the guy asks to see my ink. After he looks at the piece I'm getting done, his artist friend suggests he show me his new masterpiece that he did for the guy. This guy takes off his shirt and turns around, just grinning his ass off with pride. There before me was a full back piece, displaying 3 cloaked and hooded members of the KKK. It had burning crosses, what looked like people hanging from trees, and the 3 Klan members. I had another artist down the road finish my work, and avoided that parlor after that.
Good call. One of the best pieces of advice I ever got when I started managing my friend's parlor was from an older tattoo artist, because I asked specifically about what do I do if someone comes in and asks to get something racist done? The owner was like, money's money. If the artist is willing to do it, it's not your job to say no. The lead artist's response, no. You tell them to get the F out, to not come back, and to let all their racist friends not to come by at all. If your shop gets a reputation for being a place that tolerates racists, eventually that's your entire base.
Not a tattoo artist, but once in jail I held 12D batteries in a rolled-up newspaper to power a homemade tattoo machine while a friend tried tattooing the word king on his DK. He made the first stroke on the K and decided it's hurt too much and that it would make a nicer cross instead. LMAO. I bet you've never read that particular set of words on Reddit before.
Saw a girl get her entire anus tattooed. It was a Japanese cherry blossom flower, I believe.
Not a tattoo artist, but when I got my first tattoo I was asking the artist a bunch of questions and I asked him the same question. He responded saying that he wants tattooed stars inside a woman's vag, but that wasn't the weird part to him. The weird part was that she brought her daughter along for moral support.
Not a tattoo artist, but I was in a shop as a customer and overheard the guy taking a phone call. He got gradually louder and I heard something like, "Greater than no, I will not. Greater than no, I don't know anyone who will. Greater than look, why don't you come in here in person and ask so I can kick the effing poo out of you?" He slams the phone down, turns around to me, and shrugs. Guy wanted a swastika. We don't do that.
Not an artist, but have seen two awesome examples. 1. Woman at a tattoo convention had the names of all her ex-boyfriends tattooed around her anus. So every time she wiped her ass, she would cover them in poo. 2. Marine I served with was a tattoo apprentice, so he took his kit everywhere. On a special assignment after some heavy drinking, another Marine in our detachment requested a special tattoo, the great big green V with red veins spelling USMC along the shaft. The location for the tattoo, his left butt cheek.
I have Waldo on my taint. Bowser on a surfboard playing a double-neck guitar over a pot leaf over a cross with the text, "Happy birthday Rick."
Where do I know this from?
Not a tattoo artist, but I once saw a dude get a tattoo of a DK. On his DK.
SLPT. Get a tattoo of a bigger DK on your DK.
Thank you for watching. We upload new videos every day, so be sure to come back for more fun. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed the video.